Good day everyone. Today we will walk through the historical part of the old town of Bratislava. We start our walk with a view of the Michael Tower, which after 2 years of reconstruction is open to the public again, so I could not miss that opportunity to look at this unique tower. And so we first climb the 130 steps to the terrace of the Michael Gate and enjoy the beautiful views of Bratislava Castle and the historical part of the old town of Bratislava. And next we will walk from the Michael Gate to the main square and to the town hall and clip the tower of the old town hall, from which there are also nice views of Bratislava Castle. After that we will take a brief look at the old town hall and walk into the courtyard of the Primate Palace. And we will go on the Bratislava Castle and briefly visit the beautiful museum. We will continue to the bastions where we will end our walk. I believe that you will like this walk and maybe you will be surprised by what you can walk in Bratislava in the historical part of the city of Bratislava. First, let's talk about the Michael Tower, the only preserved gate of the city fortifications from the 14th century. And this gated tower offers us a nice view of Bratislava Castle and the old town from the upper terrace of the 51 meters high tower. The original the train gates, the only not Michael Gate, has been preserved. It was completed in the 14th century. It was named after the Gothic church of the Saint Michael, which was located before the fortification and was demolished in the 16th century due to incursion of Turkish troops. Creation, it has been extended several times until it got this final appearance in the 18th century, shortly before almost all of the city fortifications were demolished. Thanks to its high onion-shaped roof, the gate tower is one of the landmarks of the old town of Bratislava. The balcony offers a panoramic view of the castle hill, the old town hall tower, and the roof of the villa district in the hills. This part is lined with the restaurants, and with a few minutes walk we will reach the main square, where we will see the town hall tower and the museum of the old town hall, which is really richly furnished. I have not gone through the whole museum, because it takes quite a lot of time to see the whole museum in once. The main square in Bratislava is one of the most famous squares in Bratislava and extremely rich in historical prospect, with cultural monuments. There are several palaces here. The most important object of the square is the historical building of all the town hall. The embassies of Japan, Greece and France are located here in individual buildings. Paradise Palace, Epony Palace forming part of the old town hall, the Governor Palace and Kuchfield Palace stand here. Of course, we are primarily interested in the tower of the old town hall. We are now looking at Maximilian Fountain, which was built in 1572 and which solved the problem of the lack of drinking water. As for the main square, the first record of the naming of the main square is from 1373, when it was called Forum, a market. This name was preserved in various forms, Margring, until the 18th century. It was therefore a place where markets, entertainment, and public executions and coronation processions were organized. The current name of the main square is mentioned in a document from 1783, in the German form Hauptplatz. The main square, it has been named and changed with each new regime. In 1850, it was named Franz Josef Platz, in honor of Emperor Franz Josef I. After the establishment of the first Czechoslovak Republic, it was named Masaryk Square, and during the Nazism occupation was named Hitler Square. After the war, it briefly returned to its pre-war name, until in 1950 it was renamed to April 4 Square, after the liberation of the city by the Red Army. After the Gentle Revolution, it was decided to return the historical name. Since then, it has been renovated twice. In the 1990s, the greener was removed from it and paved with a stone paving, this trying to restore the medieval character of the square. Two statues of soldiers were also placed on it, with which tourists like to take pictures. The complex of buildings of the old town hall represents a unique architectural development of buildings from the 14th to 20th centuries. The oldest core of the town hall complex is the house with the tower of the town major Jakub, who died in 1374. On the first floor were representative rooms with a sumptuous facade where the town council met. In the first third of the 15th century, it became the official town hall. In 1422, the city bought to the neighboring Power house and built a meeting hall for the elected representative of the city's citizens, above the passage between the houses. Later, other buildings was added to the area, the so-called Angreshaus. In the second half of the 16th century, the town hall underwent a Renaissance renovation. The facade buildings were united, an arcade corridor was built in the courtyard. The town hall underwent several modifications. In the years 1911 to 1912, a new wing was added to connect the town hall buildings with the Primate's Palace, which the city bought for the purposes of the municipality. Part of the architectures of the town hall is the preserved original interior of decoration from the Middle Ages to 19th century, which became part of the exhibition presentation. Primatial Palace on the right is a Classicist Palace, building on the Primatial Square, the former residence of the Ostrihom Archbishop, the most important architectural monument of the mansion style period in the city. Today, the palace is the seat of the mayor of Bratislava. Some parts of its premises serve as the exhibition of the city gallery. The place where it stands has been the central area of the medieval city since the earliest times. A vibrant social life was here, and archaeological findings have moved the settlement of this territory even to Roman times. It is believed that the palace was probably built before the 13th century on the foundation of an old ancient building. The bishop's house is mentioned in a document from 1370. The chapel even a quarter of a century early.
Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough, I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough, I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck, everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep, don't give a fuck. Can't stop, unplug, feeling overwhelmed, I think I've had enough. Gotta find a way to get some energy, gotta find someone who's a good friend of me. I need purpose to make it all worth it, I'm still searching and I'm still learning. I want a life that's filled with memories, not a life with regret in front of me. I need focus to keep me from hopeless psychosis if I keep moping. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build.
So I believe that you like the view from the tower of the old town hall. And now we continue to the next attraction, which is the Bratislava Castle, where we will look into the Castle Museum and walk at the beautiful castle gardens and enjoy beautiful views from the Castle Hill at the Bratislava Old Town, same as part of the modern city. In respect of the castle history, begins to be written as early as 907. Celtic monarchs, Great Moravian nobles and Hungarian kings reside here. It experiences periods of prosperity, but also was the castle burned down and fell into disrepair, and was successfully restored to its most famous form in the 20th century. The idea that Bratislava Castle has the shape of an overturned bay table or looks like a cube with turrets has taken hold. In fact, the shape of the castle, it doesn't have a square shape, but an irregular floor plan, and there is a courtyard inside. It is also not true that the castle is only this building. In addition to the castle palace, there are several buildings, gardens, courtyards and terraces in its area. Looking at the Bratislava Castle, we see 4 towers. The truth is that the castle has only one, the Crown Tower, which is located on the southwest side. The other turrets are only built on the roof of the castle palace. Currently, the Historical Museum of the Slovak National Museum is located here, which regularly prepares exhibitions on the premises of the castle. In addition to temporary exhibitions, there are also permanent exhibitions, the treasure and the history of Slovakian history. Bratislava Castle was burned down in 1811 and until 1953, when its reconstruction began, it fell into disrepair and became a ruin. In the first half of the 20th century, it was even considered several times to demolish. And, for example, an archive, official buildings, or university town were to build in its place. Bratislava Castle was the royal residence of Maria Theresa, the most famous monarch of the Habsburg countries, who ruled in the 18th century, and Bratislava Castle was her official residence in the Kingdom of Hungary. At the beginning of her reign, she often came here. She took exemplary care of the castle and had it generously rebuilt into a representative Baroque residence, and the castle became a comfortable noble residence. Later, her favorite daughter, Mimi, and her husband Albert was lived here. And now we will move to our last destinations, the medieval city walls of Bratislava and the Cathedral of St. Martin. In medieval times, the Bratislava town was surrounded by fortified walls, and entry and exit was only possible through the 4 heavily fortified gates. On the east side of the town, it was the Lowering Gate, named after St. Lawrence. In the south, it was the Fisherman Gate. This was the smallest gate of the 4, used mainly by fishermen entering the city, with fish caught in the river Danube. On the west side, it was the Vidrika Gate, also called the Dark Gate or Black Gate, since it was like a tunnel, dark and long. In the north, there was St. Michael Gate, named after St. Michael and the St. Michael Church, and we have begun our walk from there. The fortification walls were made of stone, 51.18 inch to 63 inch thick. They acquired their definitive form in the first half of the 16th century, when the fortifications were strengthened, in fear of Turkish raids. Bratislava Castle was also heavily fortified. Other fortification systems were built over the following centuries, including World War I, artillery fortifications and shelter, a system of bunkers and fortifications built during the First Czechoslovak Republic. Between the 2 world wars, a craft shelter, fortifications built by Nazi Germany during World War II, and finally the city's defenses during the Cold War, including a system of 8,600 air raid and nuclear shelter capable of accommodating 760,000 people, which is much more than the population of Bratislava city. The pinnacle of defense during the communist era was the military missile, based on the Devínska Kobyla, which is the highest point in the city. The castle hill is heavily drilled and hides several tunnels, branch and tunnels. There used to be an extensive system of corridors not so long ago, also wine cellars and even a nightclub in the former atomic bunker was operated there. However, they mainly built an almost 800-meter long tunnel under the castle. Today trams run in, but it was also used for cars, pedestrians, or as an anti-aircraft shelter, with a capacity of up to 10,000 people. In modern times, the walls gradually lost their importance